Hello everyone, my name's Adele and welcome to Toadstool House Art. So I'm here today with this packing video that I promised because this is me packing my first few orders that I've ever sold on Etsy in my new shop. So here I'm just cutting up my thank you cards, and the design for those I took, you'll know if you've seen my business cards, the floral edging. I just took that and sort of in Photoshop chopped it up and then extended it so it fit around. It's just shy of an A6 sort of piece of card because I found that's what fits best in my envelopes. And Salem is here to supervise with me today. And his cute little toe beans. Oh, this is my brother picking him up because he wouldn't look at the camera very well. Salem was very interested in the little pieces of paper from when I cut my cards, so I had a little play with him. So I got these little stamps because I wanted to have patterned paper bags, but I could not find any paper bags with a mushroom pattern on. So I got these stamps, as you can see I'm laying them out on quite a large acrylic block, and then I'm taking some brown ink. I actually thought I'd picked up black ink, but it says cocoa there. And I actually like this much better. It's subtler, but it's much nicer, as you'll see in a minute. And isn't that nice? That looks so good in the brown. And even though the stamping isn't quite perfect, because the bags, as you can see, they've got like a slight wrinkle to them, because that's, the paper bags they do. I still think it's really nice, and I think it adds something to my packaging and makes it, more mine, because my branding is kind of sort of like mushroom based. That is, I have a toadstool as my logo. So I thought this would be really nice. It's just a bit extra. I'm doing a bit more, extra work, but I think it's nice. And I decided to stamp, both sides of the bag. And because I'm kind of extra, I had to stamp the packing envelope as well. And it was at this point I realised I needed to write my thank you cards. I got a little too excited and I wanted to start, packaging things up in these cute little bags I'd made. So I just took a moment to write out my thank yous for this batch of orders. And it's just like a short and sweet note just saying, thank you for your support, because, I can't really be doing this without sort of people to support me and purchase things from my shop. And it was so nice to have to do the shop launch and actually have orders, because the fear is that I'd have launched it and then no one would have even seen it. I just packaged things up as nicely as I could, putting in my thank you notes and wrapping everything, and I've got a lot of nice thank you stickers. And then on the outside of the envelope, just as an added extra, I decided to add these sort of autumn themed stickers. I don't know, they're cute, and I guess I couldn't help myself. And there they all are. So thank you so much if you bought something from my shop launch. It means so much. So I'm on to my next design here, and my last series of designs, the Toadstool, was really popular. People really seem to like that. I've sold quite a few of those pins now, and so I knew I wanted to do more sort of like mushroom themed things, but what I'm doing this time is something less realistic but certainly more fun. I'm doing this cute little toadstool house or fairy house, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just in Procreate, because sketching in Procreate is really nice and easy, so I can resize things, and it's really good for getting things to be symmetrical, which, as you can see, this design is probably one of the most symmetrical designs that I've done. And yeah, it's just really easy to draw things in Procreate. And oh yeah, I use Reeves watercolors. I don't think I've shown like which ones I've used before, but they are probably the easiest to find. You will find them in any art or even in a craft shop. They're affordable, and I've had these for years. I've got 2 sets and I've just used them for years and years now. As you see, for this piece I'm using every shade of red that I have. So as usual, I'm going in with a very watered down version of what I want, and I am just getting the coverage. I just want that first layer to get the colour down and sort of like work out where I'm going, and leaving the white highlights at the edges by just not painting on that particular part. So this piece, I've added probably the most texture that I've ever added to a piece, with all these little sort of like blobs of colour, and that it took a while, because like I say, I do many layers, but this one, it was so many. And I'm using like I said, every shade of red that I have, and I'm mixing in orange for the part at the top of the roof, the mushroom cap, for the light area, and in the shadowy areas I've added in a bit of magenta, so it kind of goes through orange, red, and ever so slight pink, but it works together because I layer lots and lots of reds together just to create this this sort of mottled look. And I'm adding just a touch of shading under those spots so they look a bit more 3D. And then for the stalk and the gills, I'm going in for a very light, very watered down brown. And this is because I just wanted it to not be exactly the same colour as the spots. I didn't want a perfectly white stem with the white spots on top of the cap. I wanted some contrast there, and it really makes like the white spots stand out. And then for the window shutters and the door, I'm painting them green because red and green are complementary colours, so I'm thinking with that large area of red at the top, a nice green down at the bottom, and then sort of the brown of the stem is more of a neutral colour. And then for these bricks around the doorway, I thought, I'll make it a bit more interesting by painting them all slightly different colours, and I think that's just more interesting because I didn't want to bring too much grey into the piece, because I felt that would have dulled it down, because I'm doing these windows in a dark grey. It'll get darker as I go along, and I didn't want the red cap to be so bright that nothing else could stand out. So like usual, I'm just sort of adding more and more layers until I sort of get what I want, with just some simple shading and just leaving some of it look quite rough, so like on the door you can see like just little highlights. And then I'm just using a brown for the window frames, because I felt like I didn't want to add in too much green, because I've got the green of the plants in the flower pots as well. which I've just painted them more of a reddish brown. So I'm not going, you know, too far out. You know, I've got red, brown and green. That's sort of the colour palette that I'm sticking to. And that's a really good idea if you want to do a very cohesive design, is to just pick a few colours and just sort of vary them slightly in different shades. And that'll keep everything looking nice. And then I'm just going around all the lines all again with my trusty Copic marker in the colour Sepia. And I'm just going to thicken up those lines to make everything stand out, because as you can see, at first it was alright, you could see it when there was no paint, but when I painted over everything it kind of loses a lot of detail, and I tend to add in more detail the second time around, because I feel like there's no point drawing loads of detail and then painting over it, losing it, and then painting over it, and then drawing it in again. So I can bring out the boards again of the shutters, and I can make all these nice sort of like little gills stand out. And I really like these gills. I think they're they look so pillowy. I know it's kind of a bit more cartoony than what I normally do, but I really like this. So yeah, just adding in this final step of details, really easy, because like I've done all the work. I just had to be careful not to make any of the lines too thick. And that was it. And I have to be honest, I really like this. Sometimes when I do a design, I'm not quite sure how much I'm gonna like it as a pin, but with this one I'm sure this is gonna look so nice, because it's such a sweet cohesive design. Like it's all like nicely packed together, and yeah, I really cannot wait to see it when it comes as a little wooden pin. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope the sort of packing part of the video was quite relaxing, because I like watching packaging videos. I think they're just like, you know, they are quite relaxing, and there's something about the crinkling of paper bags that sounds kind of nice. So yeah, and I hope you enjoyed the painting part where I did this little Toadstool house, which came out so nice. Like I think this is gonna make such a nice pin, because sometimes when I do designs I'm not always sure how they're gonna look when they're tiny, but this one I think is such like a classic sort of thing. I think it's gonna look really nice, one of my little wooden pins, because I think people do like the mushrooms more, because this little one, I don't know, this has been my most popular design by far. So I've sold some of them in like real life when people have seen them, and I've sold several on the Etsy shop now. In fact, I'm thinking about ordering more already. And then probably the second and third are these two, the frog and the thistle. People seem to like those as well. So I do plan to do more frog-based things in the future, but just not in this batch of illustrations. I would like to do a nice sort of like pattern of like lots of little frogs, and then I don't know, maybe make some notebook covers or something. I'm not sure. But after I'd finished this, I'm thinking this looks really familiar. Where have I seen this before? And I realised a few years ago I made a little batch of these. I'll stand up, and they're just clay houses that I made from these little jars. I only made a small batch of these, and this must have been, I don't actually know how many years ago now, but I made only so many, and I sold some, and I gave a lot of them away as gifts. Like my brother's then girlfriend, now wife, has one. My friend's mum has one, because I gave one for her birthday. And this is my mum's one that she insisted on having, because everyone else got one and she wanted one. So yeah, that's on the shelf in the living room. So yeah, am I making the same designs over and over again? Is that just what I do? I don't know. I think it's because the green door goes so well with the red of the roof. That's such a classic look to me, and I would actually like to make some more of these. I've been thinking about it for a long time. They just take so much time though, this one, I don't even know how long this one took me, and I think I only made 10 or 12 of them, and it took so long. It was like a week's worth to make those. I mean, there is some drying time as well, but yeah, so that is something I would think about, because I did enjoy it, and it's air dry clay, so it's messy, but like it's fun. Alright, and I think that's it for today. More watercolors coming in the next vlog. And yeah, just there's probably going to be another shop update when I get the pins done. So keep an eye out for that. And thank you to everyone who's been buying things from my Etsy shop. Like, your support means like so much, and even anyone who like shares my work on Instagram, Facebook, like and leaves me a like on YouTube, like that helps so much, because like that's your engagement, that's what all these websites are looking for. So yes, thank you for that. And yeah, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.